Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
No way!
A Lego set is a gift that always clicks. And clicks.
Mom, look! It's so beautiful!
And clicks. For every nature lover, choose a Lego set. A gift that always clicks.
Alright, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast with Kevin and Chuck. Today, we're going to talk about the unexpected, the things you didn't prepare for. Now, you're like, well, how can I prepare for the things that I didn't prepare for? Well, that's what we're going to get into today. I know it's kind of an unusual idea, but you know, things happen. You can't cover everything. You know, you can be so ready, but you're always going to come across things that, you know, catch you off guard. I don't know. I've had a lot of things in the last, you know, probably 4 or 5 weeks that have just been, you know, thing after another. And like we set out, you know, you keep extra money in the bank. You're like, I'm good. You know, I have an extra couple grand that I can go into. And I know in my own life, I have my wife has the car, I have a car, and I don't even use mine for work. I drive a work van, so no issue. And then my car breaks, I try and get right on it, you know, whatever. And so like when my car broke, I call my mechanic and I'm like, all right, I want to do this. Oh, you know what? I'm busy for like 4 weeks. Can you wait? So all right, you know, I don't think anything's going to happen. And then things do. But how about this? So I buy half a cow, an entire freezer worth of meat. So we're talking about $1,400. $1,400. I have a big freezer, so that's me prepping. I'm planning. I have meat for a year. That will feed my family for 1 year. Plus, you know what? I go to the grocery store. The meat's red. It looks nice on the outside. I get home that night, try and make burgers, and it's like gray inside. I'm like, really? I just paid $4.99 for gray meat? You know, that's not cool. So I was all excited. I buy my half a cow. Sure enough, a week ago, I get up, come out, walk into the kitchen, look over, and I just see a big pile of blood on the floor. And I'm like, oh yeah, $1,500 worth of meat. Gone. And it's stuff like that. You can't plan for that. I mean, I guess, you know, now that I'm prepared, I have a alarm in my freezer that I had to buy off Amazon for like $30. And, you know, now I'm not going to get stuck again. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, logic, when I bought the freezer, I sought out one with a temperature alarm, but it turns out you can only get those with circuit boards, and the circuit board ones are horrible and last about 2 years, so I went without one. I didn't know you could buy a separate freezer alarm off Amazon, but you can bet after I had blood all over the floor.
Now you know.
Now I know. And, you know, like G.I. Joe, knowing's half the battle. Well, that's it. But the point is, I mean, yeah, it'd be cool if I had bought a freezer alarm, but how much money do we really have that we can just buy every little thing on the whim? You know, like I have customers, you know, their water heater will break and flood their basement. And it had been dripping for a while and they just never knew or never saw it or never cared or noticed. But the thing is, they sell those alarms you can put on the floor where when there's water, it goes off and you hear it. Or even better, you can have something like Simply Safe or something. I think they have ones that actually monitor and give you a phone call or whatever when it happens. But again, how far can we spread our money? It can only go so many places. You can only be redundant so much. So what I wanted to talk about today is kind of mindset, kind of what do you do when the unexpected happens? What do you do when you get caught off guard? And how do you approach it? Because, I didn't kick my freezer door and say, oh, damn it, screw this isn't right. Nothing like that. Because, you know what? There's nothing I can change. There's nothing that I can do about it. There's nothing that the rage or me having a stroke is going to make better. You know what? A better example, when I was a kid, I think somebody came into the room and hooked their foot on a wire out of my guitar amp and pulled it over. And it came crashing down and smashed on top of my, $1,000 guitar. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell? And I picked up a distortion pedal, the little metal boxes that they have for effects. And I chuck it at them. And I ended up putting a dent in the freaking guitar when it bounced and flipped up into it. There was no mark from everything falling on it. But in my fit of rage, and that's, I'm talking about when I'm 14 or 13 or whatever, I don't know. But, that's it.
The rage is strong.
The rage can overtake. The rage is strong at that age. But, that's the thing. It can overtake you, and no good's going to come out of it. But, I always kind of think back, there's the movie The Crow, right? That was big when I was a kid. That came out. And so maybe I'm dating myself. I don't know. But he's just having the shit life. His wife, dies. He dies. I don't know. It all ends bad. Thing. It just ends bad. The wife gets killed. It's just bad. So the guys are all coming after him. He's trying to avenge his wife's death or whatever. And he goes after these people. And there's this guy, and he's throwing knives at him. And, he guy keeps missing, or he's knocking him away. And he's like, try harder. Try harder. And I just always think that, when my life turns to shit, I'm like, you know what? You try and fuck me up, but try harder. It's going to take more to bring me down, Mm-hmm. And that's kind of it. And maybe that's the wrong attitude. Maybe that's why my life's been so freaking hard. Maybe I should stop saying try harder and trying to challenge fate. I'm not sure on that one. I'll get back to you. I just know it has been a long uphill road. But you know what? It doesn't destroy me. I just keep going on and whatever. It is what it is, and we keep fighting. But as a prepper, I'm wondering what kind of things can we do to help prepare for the things that, we didn't plan for.
Yeah, I think Donald Rumsfeld. Remember him?
I do remember
Secretary of Defense under Bush.
I gotta say, I love that guy's press conferences. He just was awesome the way he manipulated the media all the time.
He just said nothing.
And he was awesome.
He would talk and nothing. He wouldn't say anything.
I think he was actually a communist. I'm pretty sure.
Rumsfeld?
Yeah.
Well, he was Secretary of Defense under Nixon and Bush, right?
Yeah, definitely under W and under W. Mm-hmm. And he was just freaking awesome.
Yeah, he was, he had that saying that always drove me crazy. He said, we have known knowns, we have known unknowns, and unknown unknowns.
Exactly.
So you know what you don't know some of the time, but some of the time you just don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you're missing.
That's the worst kind.
That's the worst kind of unknown. So, what do you do to prepare for something that you completely forgot about, or that there's going to be something you missed? And, really it all comes down to mental preparedness,
Sounds right.
So if we want to talk a little bit about that, touch base on getting in the right mindset.
I do.
So the right mindset begins with situational awareness, right? you wanna start being able to spot problems before they become problems.
All right.
A lot of it goes with dealing with your instincts. Following, if you got a bad feeling about a situation or a person, make some space.
Sounds right.
It might be funny to talk to the crazy guy walking up down the sidewalk, but it usually doesn't end well. Just cross the street, man. Keep going.
Huh?
It doesn't have to be a problem. So how do you build your situational awareness? Well, it's not easy to do. It definitely comes with practice, though. It comes with finding yourself in bad situations and thinking about it later on, thinking about what you could have done different or how you could have been a little bit more prepared for something that you should have seen coming. So you want to start being a little bit more observant about your surroundings. Whenever I go into a gas station or, a restaurant or a place, I kind of count the people that are in there. Just give them a good once-over and see, what kind of person they might be or might not be. Obviously, don't judge a book by its cover, but, judge a book by its cover. Give yourself a little bit of, advance warning if you see somebody that might be an issue. And you're going to want to make note. You're going to pay attention to things that are unusual, things that stand out. You don't have to do anything about it, but if you see something off, keep that in mind. If you see the person in front of you has a gun in their, inside their coat, it's probably fine, but make note of it. Watch for tattoos, man. That's a good.
Tattoos the sign.
That's a good description. If somebody's got a teardrop tattoo on their face, any kind of face tattoo, you could probably just categorize them in one way. Neck tattoo is the next stage down, but
I even get concerned about facial piercings.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and what do the tattoos say? What's the message they're trying to show with the tattoo?
All right.
Now, the second one would be when you go into a place that is not necessarily your normal hangout, not your basement, your living room. You're out in public, in a restaurant, wherever you might be. Consider the options. Think about where the exits are. Think about the most likely chance of an issue coming up. What it would be. And then you're also going to want to, along with that, practicing your awareness also involves taking action. Removing yourself from a situation that you have a bad feeling about. And last but not least is always keep moving. Keep your head moving. Keep your eyes moving. And if something doesn't look right, keep your ass moving.
I like keeping moving.
All right, so sharpen your senses.
All right.
Now let's think about. They say there's 5 senses. Smell. I'm not going to go through the whole thing.
No.
You know what they're supposed to be, but there's a lot more than
smell,
that.
sight,
There's
something. Okay.
Smell, taste,
Sound.
hearing. Yeah.
All right.
There's a lot more to that. There's a sense of time, sense of balance. All those senses kind of paint a pretty broad picture.
Okay.
And there's a lot of input coming into your mind all the time. You need to, just spend a little bit of time focusing that. Focusing on where you're headed. What's around you, what's going on around you. A heated argument in the corner of a room might turn bad fast. One of the things you want to do is, if you're going to work on sharpening your senses, is you want to eliminate distractions. Don't, your cell phone, paying attention to your cell phone, listening to the radio blasting, that sort of stuff. Check your surroundings. Look around. Like I said, I usually count the people that are in the place that I'm at and just kind of make a quick mental note of each person. And watch people. Watch how they behave and interact with each other. And that's it on that. Now, it's important that you avoid automatic behavior. You ever been driving down the street, you know exactly where you're going, your daily commute to work or home, and you get thinking about something. Next thing you know, you look up and you realize you don't know if you ran a red light or drove past a stop sign. You don't remember anything that you did in the past 10 minutes because your mind's been somewhere else.
I have been down that road.
Mm-hmm. Automatic behavior can be a killer, not just in
the fact that you ran a red light.
Right, yeah.
Maybe didn't.
Yeah, no, that's the main thing. And that can be hard because you don't necessarily realize you're doing it until after you're done.
Right.
Now, another thing I'd like to keep in mind is keeping yourself in the loop. Keeping yourself
Tell me about that.
Keeping yourself in the... keeping yourself aware of the things that are supposed to be happening. Your neighbor's going on vacation. You haven't seen their car for 3 days. Have they, do you know that they were supposed to be on vacation? Is their mail stacking up? You don't know what's going on. You might want to go and knock on the door. They might be dead inside. You thought they were just in Bermuda, and turns out they've been decomposing in their living room for 2 weeks, and their cats ate their eyes.
And then the smell's going afoul, and you're like, wait, that's not Bermuda. That's not the smell of the seashore.
Mm-hmm.
No, sounds right.
All right, now, so with that sort of mindset, staying in the loop, you want to observe, be constantly observing your neighborhood, your own house. I had a neighbor a couple of years ago told me that somebody pulled into my driveway, blonde woman got out, walked around to the back of my house, and about 20 minutes later walked back out and got in her car and left. I never found out who the hell that was. I didn't even know any blonde women at the time.
No blonde
No
women.
idea who that was. Now, when you get yourself in a situation, you're observing, you want to orient yourself. Basically, what I mean by that is, as new information is being presented, then you have to react to that new information as quickly as possible, and then make a decision based on that information. Now, changing situations don't leave a whole lot of time for decision making.
Okay.
So in a situation like that, it's better to act too fast than too slow. And, finally, I want to talk about adapting and overcoming.
I like that.
Now, when I was in the CBs, they always used to say, the difficult we can get done immediately, and the impossible just takes a little bit longer.
All right.
Now, you come across bad situations all the time. A lot of people get into a lot of problems, just basic, simple situations. I know a friend of mine was telling me that he was coming up off of onto an on-ramp, onto a highway.
Okay.
And there's a Jeep in front of him turned over. And there's a guy in the Jeep, he pulled over, was asking the guy, if he was all right. And he said the guy obviously had a head wound. Looked like he had come up on the ramp too fast and rolled his Jeep over.
Jeeps do roll over.
And he was talking about, I forget the name, but it was a girl's name. And he said there was how is she? How is she? And he said there was a dog there, but he wasn't sure if he was talking about the dog or another person that was in the vehicle.
Right.
So another guy pulled up alongside, and he said, I'll go run and, look around real quick. And he ran and jumped over a guardrail, and, it was the middle of the night, jumped over a guardrail to go look along the side of the road, and it was a 80-foot drop on the other side of the guardrail. And his wife was just sitting in the car waiting for him to come back, as soon as he is done. But, it's really one of those things about, you get excited, you get, wound up, want to help out, run and do this. But, there's already been one disaster. You don't need to make it, the second one. You don't want to be the second casualty.
Your surroundings, right?
You want to be very observant. That adrenaline can be a lifesaver, but it can also, give you tunnel vision.
That I always wonder, I'm torn if I hurt or I help my instincts. I always kind of pause for just a second with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember one of the instances, my sister was over and her kid fell down the stairs. And I pause for just 1 second and think about, all right, what's going on? What do I do before I jump up and run?
Right.
And I always go, but also there can be a gunshot, there can be, and I kind of just a half a second. And I've actually conditioned myself to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it hurts me or if it helps me.
Well, it's that
But
initial
it's just a half a
adrenaline burst
second
wants
of-
you to get moving, right?
Right. And I always kind of, all right, what do I do? And people are like, oh, you don't flinch, you don't, nothing. But I also wonder, does that hurt me? Because I don't. But I mean, we're not talking about 2 seconds, 3 seconds. We're talking about a half a second. I just don't jump in anything. I process it, and then I do it. And I actually spent time kind of developing that.
Uh-huh.
And again, I'm not sure it's the right thing, but I feel like it might be.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I
'cause
mean,
I'm not jumping off over barriers
Right.
and down a cliff.
yeah. Well, I mean, you see those things where somebody's electrocuted,
Yes.
and then other guys run over to help and end up getting electrocuted too. Or I did some confined space training for a construction job, and it's one of those things. You see your buddy is in that confined space and passed out,
Right.
so you run in to help, and then you pass out too.
Right.
You know, then you're both short on oxygen, and you're both an issue. So definitely, you know, it's definitely important to observe, orient yourself, and then make a decision to act. And, you know, we're all faced with situations every day that are new situations that we never dealt with. Most of them are never life and death situations, not daily anyway.
Right.
But all these situations give us an opportunity to, you know, kind of practice that, you know, that situation. Even if it's just a customer getting irate, or a, you know, or somebody screaming, you know, and you,
Yeah.
is it a fire? Is it somebody being raped? You know, is it
Yeah.
just some kid goofing around? You know, you don't want to run in there and start beating people and then realize you're smacking up a 12-year-old that was screaming, you know, about some joke or something, you know? That always ends up looking bad.
That's awkward. Oh, I hit the neighbor's kid. Sorry. Yeah. No, that's it. But that doesn't mean prepare.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't mean you don't prepare.
Right.
I guess what I meant to say.
Developing a
You know,
mindset, preparing
And I mean, but even beyond that, I mean prepare in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
you know, we're saying don't run into the burning building without thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't mean you can't immediately start thinking of a plan.
Right.
Saying, all right, who's around? What's going on here? What are my danger areas?
Right. Is somebody calling the
what do
police
I
and the
need
fire
to do to help?
department? Is
You know,
somebody
whatever.
know how many people are in the
It's
building?
fine to jump
Yep.
into that, but maybe that half a second to jump,
Mm-hmm.
because I guess that's the way. I mean, again, you know, when I'm in Paris and an 18-wheeler's turning into the crowd, that half a second could cost me everything.
Right.
I know, and I hope in those moments I don't react like
Right.
that. But just the same, 99% of the time, that half a second isn't going to make a difference at all.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
A kid falling downstairs,
falling
that half
down
a
and
second
whatever,
isn't going to be
you know,
a
unless
difference.
I'm reaching out and grabbing it and catching the kid, it's not gonna, you know, change anything
Right.
for, you know, that split second. But how you react can change everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, just be aware of it like that. You know, be aware of what you're getting into when you move, and you know, that's what I was thinking. I don't know what else you got.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, we can talk a little bit about, you know, some basic things that you can do to be prepared
Okay.
in any situation. You know, we talked about your everyday carry before.
Yep.
And that's a good lesson to keep in mind, having a pocket. You know, today I actually did that. I screwed myself over. I always go through my pockets, make sure I've got everything. And I thought I had left my pocket knife in the car.
Okay.
Then I needed it. And I didn't leave it on the car. I left it on the dresser.
Right.
You know, and that sort of thing is, that's something I could have easily corrected.
Yeah.
If I had, you know, sat for a second before I left the house and gone through everything. I would have realized, oh yeah, I did leave it on the dresser. And then I had to, you know, cut a a piece of rubber tube with a saw, like some sort of retard. But I mean, that's the sort of thing that's your everyday carry is important. And then some basic things like keeping your gas tank full.
Okay.
Making sure you wash and sanitize your hands and your cooking utensils, because being sick on top of an emergency like a natural disaster, that's not helping anybody. Keeping your documentation safe.
Okay.
Your birth certificate, driver's licenses, social security card. Keep that all together in one place, and if you have to bug out, you want to be able to just grab everything and go. If you're in a wildfire area, forest fire area, and you only have a few minutes to evacuate your house, you want the things that you need to grab to be easily accessible.
That's the thing. I mean, because you never know when you're going to be caught off guard.
Right.
You never know when the fire comes.
Mm-hmm.
You never know when the flood, the pipe bursts, and you got to grab crap because, oh no, my downstairs is flooding.
Right.
And
that's where all my photo albums
stuff
are.
is there.
Right.
That's fine. I mean, you store stuff where you store stuff. Maybe you store it in the upstairs closet, and there's a bathroom right next door.
Right.
And the pipe breaks. But can you get your stuff, and can you get it together? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. We can only plan for so much, but it's how we react.
Right.
What's that stupid saying of, life isn't, what happens to you, it's how you react to it.
Yes.
It's a dumb, happy Pinterest kind of thing to say, but it's true. How we respond, how we treat it, that's what's going to get us through. That's what's going to set you apart and get you through. That, or it's just your life's going to be hard and you're going to freaking fight for everything, and that's the world.
Yeah, it's going to be most of our lives, right? Being proactive about these sort of things, too, is a big deal. Is that the fire alarm in your house been chirping for 3 weeks, and you just learn to tune it out? Just find it and fix it. Yeah. You have to go, I know how it is, because you got 10 fire alarms, and one of them's chirping. So you walk down the hallway, is it coming from the left or the right?
And it turns
out... You walk over, yeah.
Yeah, but then the new ones... They don't even have batteries.
They just plug in?
No. I'm like trying to twist it open, break it apart. I'm like, what the hell? So then I read, and they're like, it says on there is no battery. These are designed to last for 5 years, and then you throw them out. And, ones with carbon monoxide, they're like $50.
Yeah, they're not cheap, right?
No batteries anymore. Because they're like, people don't change them. So... You just make it so I got to throw it out and buy another $50.
Yeah. It shouldn't be $50 at that point.
And then, I think I bitched about this before, but it's really a sore topic with me. I have a kid who doesn't like the loud, startling noises. And so I have to get the one that says, carbon monoxide, go outside. Or, there's smoke. You should get up and leave. Some kind of happy, saying like that. But,
yeah, she does have that kind of that panic response to a lot of things.
So I go and I spend, I think it's like $69 or $79 for one that speaks and does carbon monoxide and smoke. They're not cheap. Mm-hmm. So I buy this damn thing. Sure enough, it's got the horrible, scary buzzer. Then it says what it needs to.
Oh, man.
I was pissed, dude. I guess with Lowe's you can take anything back, but I'm just not that guy,
Mm-hmm.
But... So that's what I got.
Yeah, I think that's it. The only other thing I was thinking about is if you see a horde of rats running, run the same direction, man. It either means a sinking ship or a fire or zombies are coming.
The rats know?
The rats know, man. The rats always know.
All right. Well, a couple things. I saw Obama's out giving speeches.
Excellent.
It's getting $400,000, not unlike the Clintons were doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a smart model. I want to put it out there to everybody.
Yeah, if you want to make some money, just become president.
I'm available for $400,000 speeches.
Mm-hmm.
I might even be able to work out a discount rate.
I won't even release the transcripts.
Oh, yeah, your secrets will be safe with me. If I'm like, hey, you guys, you want to really prepare for the zombie apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
I know about your secrets. That's cool. I'm willing to work with you. I might even be able to work out reduced fees. Just get in touch with me. you want to shoot me an email, Chuck.
Yeah,
or,
just like 380,000.
Put attention, Chuck, in the subject. Public speaking maybe.
Right.
And then preppingbadass@gmail.com. I'm just saying, you want to send those in.
All right.
I'll be looking out.
Discount maybe, but nothing less than $100,000.
$100K. Well, that's, you know what? You put me in the presidential suite. You fly me out there.
First class.
First class. Yeah, I mean, that didn't even need to be said. You fly me out first class. I could go down to $75,000.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, we're talking about like 20 minutes.
Right.
Not, if it's going to be $100,000, you're going to,
Right.
you'll get the hour.
And the free buffet better have lobster.
There better be lobster. You know what I like? Those, what do they have? The lobster ravioli? Is that's the dream?
Yeah. Oh,
see?
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. So, I'm just saying, you guys want to, having a party, your next event, you want the Prepping Badass there, I'm available. Now, another thing we haven't been pushing on you guys is leaving us a review on the iTunes. Now, I think about 1,000 people, maybe 1,500, depends on the week, listen each week to these episodes. And there's only about 18, 19 reviews. I feel like, some of you, it's possible you haven't left us a review on the iTunes yet. So, I'm just saying, it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know you're thinking, well, I'm one of the 18, so you better just quit whining. All right, good on you. But I'm just saying. And then, all right, you don't like iTunes. You don't want to support the whole review system. You're anti-review. That's okay. We have another way that you can show us a little love over at Patreon. Now, we put a link in there. I don't know what you type in to find us. Maybe Survival Badass, maybe Prepping Badass. But I know when I want to find it, I always type in Badass Chuck.
And it comes
up. So it's like the first one. So I'm just saying it's easy. Now, Pia, you left us nice Patreon. We're ecstatic. I don't know if we've told you twice, but that's your second time. We actually wanted to send you a thank you video. We never found your email because you canceled it too quick or whatever. We love what you did. But
if you email us, you might get a video.
Email, there is a video in it for you. I'm just saying. So you might want to shoot us an email at preppingbadass@gmail. Now you're saying, well, we already did email you there. I know I tried to send the video to that. Came back, said no good, no. So, whatever. We got some love for you. I'm just saying.
Yep. And if anyone's got show topics, something you're interested in,
you want to hear?
We did get an interesting email a couple weeks ago from the Spain Eye Knife.
Spain Eye?
Yeah.
I think.
SPANI, right?
Spain Eye Blades.
Yep. So if you want to search those out, they're custom-made knives.
Perhaps I said their name wrong last week. Maybe it was Kevin. I'm really blaming Kevin.
Yeah, I think it was me.
I'm blaming you.
Kevin
is more than knife aficionado.
If you wanted to, check those out, the custom-made knives, he's actually talking about making one for us, retrofitting a knife.
Custom knives, custom guns, optics, night vision, silencers. Well, silencers would be illegal. But any of these items, maybe you want me to test out some bulletproof, plate carriers or something.
Right. I will
down.
be completely willing to shoot you when you put it on, Chuck,
Kevin
and test it out.
Well, you throw it on a video.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't letting you shoot my ass. Shoot me in the arm, be like, what?
Oops.
My bad. Sorry. Yeah, no, that's a no-go. But, we're open. You want to work a deal? Talk to us. But, no, there's a lot of good things out there, and you guys are awesome, and you've been taking care of us, and we really appreciate it. You hooked us up with this great sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice volume, nice clear mics. We've been turning a nice road there. So you guys have been taking care of us, and we hope to keep taking care of you. So anything you want to hear about, like Kevin said, you want to get in touch with us, whatever, even message us on Facebook, whatever's easy. And we'll see if we can, return the favor and give you guys some of what you're looking for. Otherwise, we'll keep coming up with awesome content on our own. And we hope to see you guys next week. Stay safe.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.